Bloxburg, once so widely known as a paid Roblox game, became free on June 15th, 2024. What was supposed to be a game changer quickly backfired. Controversies, bullying, disappointments, but most importantly, the huge issue that the Bloxburg development team must now face. Was this the worst decision ever made in Roblox history? Or was it all part of some top secret master plan? Whenever Bloxburg announced that it was going to go free, it got quite a lot of backlash. But despite this, they still decided to make the game go free. And I think it's because they had no choice but to do so. Let me explain. Before it went free, it had around 40k players. The day it went free, at 300k players, beautiful, fantastic. And afterwards, we see it decreasing and decreasing and decreasing. I've been in this public server for around 10 minutes now, and there's one message, but other than that, chat is still pretty dead. I predicted that most new players who joined Bloxburg would be role players, which I still stand by. So these people, they join a public server and they find out, oh, chat is dead and there's no one to roleplay with. I know that most roleplays now happen in neighborhoods. How are new players gonna know that roleplays happen in neighborhoods? And even if they do know, how do they know which neighborhoods to join? Because it's not like you can just click. You have to know a username to type in. And I'm not saying that new players are naive. What I'm saying is that most players in most games, not just Bloxburg, most players are passive players, which basically means they aren't as invested as the game as like probably me, where I'm like looking through Reddit, I'm looking through Twitter, I'm like looking at forums about the game. But to find a roleplay neighborhood, you have to look at other platforms, you have to go on TikTok, you have to go on YouTube. And so new players, they come in on this first day, they find out chat is dead, there's no one, there's no other role players, like what am I supposed to do? And then they slowly quit the game. At the same time, there's probably just a bunch of players who now wanted to try Bloxburg because now it's free, but really had no interest in Bloxburg to begin with. So then why are so little players genuinely interested in playing Bloxburg long term? Look, Bloxburg is a very popular game. It is consistently the 10th to 15th most played game in Roblox. So it's not like, oh, now Bloxburg is free, people are finding out about the game for the very first time, which most likely mean that people who wanted the game Bloxburg already bought Bloxburg before it went free.
But it costs Robux.
Yeah, okay, whatever. Most active Roblox players have Robux. Let me show you. I don't know how Roblox sorts their players, but probably the active ones are up here, right? Look, so these are all Robux paid avatar items. And let's say you don't have Robux, you want to buy Bloxburg, you need at least $5. I'm gonna say this in the most humble way possible. $5 is like tooth fairy money. But even then, sure, you can argue that most 10-year-olds don't have $5 just right off the bat. But you can save. If you get like $1 a week, that's like saving for 5 weeks, you have $5. And so if someone wanted to get Bloxburg, they would, and most people did. Some of these players would go on to be some of the most entitled idiots ever. A lot of people on Reddit are saying that they're seeing OG players being rude and bullying new players, and these OG players feel like they're more powerful and more entitled because they've played the game for longer, they know the game better, and therefore they're superior. And then scaring the new players away. So obviously, if new players, their early impressions of this fandom is that we're so incredibly mean and they're just victims of bullies, and obviously they're not going to come back. Though I will say, I think what gives these people this sense of power is the early Bloxburger label, so this right here, and also the couch car. Like these two things, their whole entire personality. But I don't think it's Bloxburg's fault at all for giving these rewards, because people would be even more mad if they got no rewards at all. And then we have a separate group of people who aren't direct bullies, but they're referring to these new players as like a quote-unquote cute or quote-unquote baby. I don't think these group of people have intentions of bullying because they aren't directly saying mean words, but referring to them as cute because they have no idea how to play the game. It just kind of feels condescending and almost like bullying. I saw this TikTok the other day. By the way, I don't think that this TikToker had any intentions to be malicious, but I'm using this kind of as an example because some people who did the same thing probably did. And it's basically old players driving around in their couch car, welcoming new players and watching them as they do their tutorials. And so even though in chat they're being very nice and they're like, oh my gosh, hi new players, it just, like the feeling of it, they're unknowingly flaunting that they don't need to do the tutorial, they have the couch car, they're not a new player. And you could argue, what if these people are just genuinely welcoming new players? They have no negative intention. Well, how do the new players know that you don't have negative intention? How are they gonna read your mind? As humans, we tend to catastrophize, meaning that we think of the worst case scenarios. So when we see this, or maybe when some people see this, they're gonna assume that you have malicious intentions even if you don't. And so after a couple days of playing Bloxburg and encountering enough rude OG players, people are gonna be like, okay, well, this game's not for me. The fandom is way too toxic. And they quit the game, which I do think is a problem because I do think that fandom is getting a little bit toxic. With that being said, I don't think that the community is all to blame. I think that the Bloxburg development team might also be at fault. They removed the paywall way too early, before they were ready for this big influx of new players, and then left a bad impression. They talked about having a map revamp in this video, and a lot of people were expecting a map revamp whenever the game went free, but it didn't. But I think that the map revamp should have happened before it went free, or at least the same day. Because along with the map revamp, more plots and bigger server sizes would be nice. 12 players, one is on one side of town and one is on the complete other. It just feels very segregated and doesn't feel like the town/city game that it should be. Like if we look at Brookhaven, server sizes, yeah, 21. And then we look at Berry Avenue, it's 30. That's a lot more than Bloxburg. Instead of having the town in the middle and then 6 plots on this side and 6 plots on this side, they should move all the plots on one side and then the town on the other, so that everyone, all 20 to 30 people, are together. And also, more players in a server also means that there are more people that you can possibly talk to in chat. And then also, the skill and work rewards aren't fully developed yet. Right now, we have one job that is fully fleshed out with all the rewards and one skill that is fully fleshed out with all the rewards. Everything else is still a work in progress, which is another thing that I think should have been done before the free update. They've done it once, they know how to do it, they know what they need to do. It's not like they have to come up with this whole new concept. They know how to code it, they just need to do it with everything else. Even though the game claims to be out of beta, they gave a little message whenever it's going free saying, hey, we're out of beta now. The game doesn't really feel like it's out of beta yet. It just feels like a lot of stuff is still unfinished. Now, I'm not saying that they should wait until the game is completely perfect with no issues before they release the game to the public, but I'm saying that these big things like the work and the skill rewards and the map revamp, these are big things that they're already working on. They know they're going to do in the future. They're already currently working on behind the scenes. They just need to get it done, and then the game can go free. First impressions are so incredibly important for anything, not just like a video game. And so when new players come in, you want their first impression of the game to be like, oh my gosh, this game is so good. Everything's like fleshed out. This is like the best game ever. Instead of, oh, this game is, okay, but I know it's gonna be better in the future. People don't have the patience to wait until later, but there's so many other games on Roblox. Look at this, there are millions of games. Why would they stay around for an okay game? But that still begs the question, if Bloxburg wasn't ready to go free yet, then why did it go free so soon? Why would the Bloxburg development team put themselves in this hole so hard to dig themselves out of? I think it was because they were forced into this hole. Let me explain what this hole is. As we know, Coffee Stain bought Bloxburg around a year and a half ago for $100 million. Crazy amount of money. And so what that means is that in order to make profits, Bloxburg needs to make that $100 million back, plus more. And I was watching Creecraft the other day, and I learned something. Creecraft, please don't copyright strike me. I'm giving you a free promo. You probably don't need it. You have 10 million subscribers.
Whenever someone buys an IP or a property or video game, they generally buy it for a little bit more than it's worth. So if they bought Bloxburg for $100 million, for example, then that means that Bloxburg wasn't making $100 million a year. Maybe it was making like 30 or 20. But what they do is they buy it for something like $100 million, and they say, hey, we can double the profits. And then 5 years later, they've made all their money back and more.
But what that means is that Coffee Stain bought Bloxburg for a lot more than it's worth, hoping that they're gonna help make the game more money. And so in Bloxburg's case, more money probably means more players buying the game. But if we look at the numbers here, this is around when Coffee Stain bought Bloxburg. The numbers have slowly been kind of decreasing. So let's say they made $20 million here, and then Coffee Stain bought the game for $100 million. They probably made less than $20 million in all of 2023 because there's less players, which is probably not what they're expecting. And if they were, why would they buy Bloxburg if they were expecting a decrease? Like, that doesn't make any sense. This decrease isn't because it's after the pandemic and now people are just playing Roblox collectively less. No, if we look at the numbers, Roblox itself has been consistently growing year after year. And if we look at the competitor games, this is when Coffee Stain bought Bloxburg, and to now, there's been an overall increase. And if we look at Brookhaven, same thing, around 450K. And now it's at 600K. Again, overall increase. I'm not gonna say that was Coffee Stain's fault that the game's been decreasing, because honestly, it's been decreasing before Coffee Stain. So then why would Bloxburg go free if so much of its revenue came from the paywall? Here's my speculation. They crunched numbers, they looked at the graph, and they had a meeting. They're like, okay, if this negative trend continues, we're never making $100 million back. Like, what are we supposed to do? And so now they have two options. which honestly is kind of a lose-lose situation. So the first option is that they keep the paywall, which they did the calculations. They weren't going to make much from that because I think at this point, the game has been paid for 8 years. Like I said, everyone who wanted Bloxburg probably already bought Bloxburg. Number 2, they take a gamble and make the game free before the game goes free because they don't have time to wait. They need to make revenue, like right ASA now. And hopefully they'll make more money than if the game was paid through Game Pass purchases and premium payouts. Premium payouts means that if a player with a Roblox Premium plays your game, then the developer of that game will earn Robux from Roblox. But there's a catch. Premium payouts are only a feature if the game is for Coffee Stain's pretty smart. They probably did the calculations. They probably knew that making the game free wouldn't crazily boost their revenue and save themselves, but they were hoping that by making the game free, they weren't gonna lose as much money as they were with keeping the game paid. Now, I don't know how much of this is true because obviously I think the game's gonna go back to right how it was before, but at least now they get premium pay. Either way, whether they made the game free or not free, honestly, I don't know which one is the better choice at this point. The situation is not looking good for Coffee Stain. So what will Bloxburg do about all this? I guess only time will tell. And that is the conspiracy theory of the unexpected downfall of Bloxburg going free. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Click here to subscribe, then click here to check out more of my conspiracy theories about Bloxburg. See you there!